Hey guys, Geocentric Truth here again. Got another question for you guys. How come in all the NASA films, videos, pictures, everything they show us of space, leaving space, coming from space, whatever in space, they claim to have more than 20,000 pieces of space debris? Where is it? We never see it. I know they say it goes from 1 centimeter to a golf ball to larger, but where is it? How come we don't see it? They claim it's there, but just like the curvature, where is it? Let's see what NASA has to say about it.
You may be surprised to hear that space, especially around Earth, is very crowded. Enough so that there has been an agency at NASA called the Orbital Debris Program Office constantly monitoring known objects in orbit 24/7, 365 days a year. Today we are joined by Nicholas Johnson, NASA's chief scientist for orbital debris, to explain how his office works with agencies around the world to keep our space highways collision-free.
Orbital debris is really anything in Earth orbit which no longer serves a functional purpose. There's a very large quantity of debris which has accumulated over the past 50 years. We are tracking in the United States with the U.S. Space Surveillance Network more than 22,000 objects currently in Earth orbit at some altitude. Of those 22,000 objects, only 1,000 represent functional spacecraft. So the other 21,000 are all debris. The way we track debris is with a number of different technologies. We have ground-based radars and we have ground-based telescopes. Typically, the radars will concentrate on objects what we call low Earth orbit, or below 2,000 kilometers. And the optical telescopes will concentrate on the higher altitude. The space station is the most heavily protected vehicle that's ever been launched or assembled in Earth orbit. It can withstand hits of objects on the order of half an inch in diameter. If it's larger than that, the shield simply cannot prevent the particle from going all the way through the shields and into the component we're trying to protect. If the objects are larger, we simply get out of the way. A lot of people think that all debris moves in a sort of general direction, but it turns out that once they're in orbit, because of perturbations, changes in the gravitational field of the Earth and the Sun and the Moon, that they actually wind up in a large number of directions. The best way to visualize it is to think of a beehive, an angry beehive, and these objects are actually going in all different directions. For a satellite in low Earth orbit, they're traveling typically 5 miles per second. But because they're going in different directions, the collision velocity is going to be even higher. And in fact, the average collisional velocity is somewhere like 7 or 8 miles per second. With a large number of satellites which we put in orbit over the last half century, a lot of those are coming back at a regularly frequent rate. On average, there's been one known satellite reentry every day. Most of these small things burn up completely. They never reach the surface of the Earth. But for a typical rocket body or a spacecraft, there will be some components which do survive reentry. However, because roughly 3/4 of the world is covered in water, the majority of those surviving components will wind up in the water. Those which do not, they may likely come down in very sparsely populated regions. Fortunately, through all these years, no one has ever been hurt, and there's never been any significant property damage. But we know that there's always a risk, and it's one which we actually try to mitigate.
Now that you know what NASA does to protect spacecraft from orbital debris, try
So we just saw nothing. And those feeds from NASA, they gave us nothing. Absolutely nothing. Where is the debris? I get it. Centimeter to golf ball to larger. Where is the larger? Again, just be real. But according to Nicholas Johnson, chief scientist, orbital debris, he says there's debris going everywhere. Let's hear him say that again.
Changes in the gravitational field of the Earth and the Sun and the Moon, that they actually wind up in a large number of directions. The best way to visualize it is to think of a beehive, an angry beehive, and these objects are actually going in all different directions. For a satellite in low Earth orbit,
So I leave it up to you guys to think about it. Make your own discernment. Don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. Trust yourself. Stay flat.